Behind me is my really crappy 1999 Dodge 1500. Behind me is what this video is about. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. It stays at the lake at our place, our vacation home at the lake, and it is just used as a grocery getter farm truck at the lake. But it has seen better days. I have not maintained it the way I should. It still runs great. It functions great, but it is dirty. It's dented. These tires have been on it, and you can see they still have a lot of tread left, but these tires have been on it for about 6 years now. That shows you how much I actually drive this vehicle. I went back and looked at the title, and in the last 4 years, I have put about 10,000 miles on this truck total. Because this truck spends 95% of its time just sitting at the lake, the tires have basically dry rotted over the last 6 years because it just gets no mileage put on it. And they are tiny, tiny tires. These are 265s, which is good for just driving around. It is a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but it's good for driving around. This truck has got me through the snowstorms and things like that, so it's a great truck. But it's time to add a little more to the channel, and let's work on this truck for a little bit and see what we can get done to it. So before we get into the meat of this video, here's some things I'm doing to this truck. I've got to get new headlights. I've got some cheap old eBay specials that you can see have condensation in them. I want to put a Gen 4 bumper on the front. I'm going to put some updated mirrors on it, tow mirrors. Obviously, I'm not going to flip them up like Cornholio. I'll keep them down unless I'm actually towing. And I'm definitely debadging the side and taking the molding off the side to give it a more updated look. I will do the same on the tailgate. All these badges will go away. I may keep the 4x4. This molding will go away, and it'll give it a more updated look. But let's talk about this video. This video is all about these tires. As I said, the truck has some old tires on it that need to be replaced. They are dry rotted. They actually leak down air pretty quickly. And so I needed to replace those tires. Knowing I don't put but about 2,000 miles a year on this truck, I didn't want to buy a bunch of new expensive tires. I went to a website that many of you are probably familiar with called TireRecappers.com, and I got a set of 16-inch 285, so a couple sizes up, in the old BFG KO pattern, and these are recapped onto other sidewalls. Now I know what you're saying. You're going to put Retread tires on a truck and drive it down the road. You're going to have a blowout and you're going to kill a busload of nuns. Relax. I've had Retreads before. If you look back at my older videos, you'll see that I had BFG KM retreads on my TJ when I first put my fenders on, and I wound up putting about 10,000 miles on those, about maybe 8,500 to 10,000 miles on those, and they were good. I had no problems with them. I drove them down to Florida and back, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour in a Jeep, and they did great. I will say that they do wear fast, and I expect that with it. From all the consensus I've been able to find on the internet, on a heavy truck, on a full-size truck, they're going to wear fast, and I'm prepared for that. My old tires, I actually still have those, but they're 17-inch. I need a 16-inch, and those tires probably still have over half tread, and like I said, I had about 10,000 miles on them. So, you know, I expect to get no more than 20,000 miles out of these, but for $400 shipped to my house for free, of course I'm going to wind up spending $50 getting them mounted. So for $450 mounted and balanced, 20,000 miles, that would be 8 years worth of having this truck. So let's talk about these retreads real quick. These are capped tires, which means that they take a sidewall to a different tire, and these happen to be Nittos. Actually, this one is a Nitto. And they use the sidewall, and they put a new tread block on it, and they have a process of vulcanizing it to the tire. Back in the day, that was a bad deal. Over the last 15, 20, 30 years, technology has gotten a lot better, and you don't hear about these failing very often. If they do fail, they typically have a sidewall failure where there'll be a bulge in the sidewall because of reusing an older sidewall as opposed to the tread actually separating. You see retreads on the side of the road for 18-wheelers and things like that. When you think about the millions and millions of 18-wheelers running multiple tires per trailer and per tractor, realistically, failure is not very common. Most of the complaints online for these, if there are any, a lot of people love them, but most of the complaints are very quick wear, which I anticipate, and the fact that usually one or two of them will need a lot of weight to balance. And I anticipate that as well. So from a safety standpoint, I'm very comfortable with these. I have experience with them, and obviously I will watch out for any dry rot or separation issues or anything like that. Probably the only other issue with these that people have a problem with is you're not guaranteed to have the same sidewalls. So these are 4 different tires on 4 different sidewalls. Now they have the same tread pattern, obviously, but I have a Nitto, I have a BFG sidewall, I have a Dick CPEC sidewall, and I have a something else sidewall. I even looked at all of them. You can pay to have matched sidewalls. I had matched sidewalls on my other Jeep. In the KMs, I had all BFG sidewalls, and you can get matched sidewalls. It costs $12 more a tire, which, you know, I'm not worried about the sidewalls on this truck. But we're going to get these put on today. We're going to see if they'll get balanced. We're going to take the truck for a drive, and I'll give you a quick review of them. But for those wondering, here's what they look like. Here's what recap tires look like. Now you can see the line where the cap is, and that's normal. That's how these tires are, and it's a little bit worse on some. You can see this tire and this tire have a similar bar across the top, and so it looks a lot more natural on those tires as opposed to these two that don't have this separation here where they have the texture. Oh man. Okay, I guess this gets to be a bonus video because you may have caught that oh shit there before I shut the camera off. I was looking at the tires, getting ready to end the video and take them to get them mounted, and I noticed this little cut right here. Now, if that was just a little surface nick, I wasn't even worried about it. But when I put my hand behind it and pushed on the tire, push on the back side of the tire, you can see that cut opens up, and it is a pretty deep cut. It doesn't go all the way through, but there is not much material behind the back of that cut and where my finger's pressing. It could have been done in shipping. More than likely it was done during the process of them recapping it, and or done prior to them just not inspecting it properly. But you can see it's a substantial cut. One I would not feel comfortable putting on any vehicle. So I just took pictures. I just sent them an email saying that the tire, I received it damaged and I would like to do a exchange. Now, of course, they're in Tennessee, I'm in Georgia. These tires got to me in literally 2.5 days from me ordering them. So I'm not sure if they're gonna make me send this back before they send me the new one, or if they're gonna send me a new one and then have me send this back. Preferably they send me a new one, it gets here Monday or Tuesday, and then I get to send them back. I'm not gonna fault them for this because I've ordered tires before online and they show up damaged. New tires, not just recap tires. So let's see, this is a perfect test, unintended test, to see if buying from tire recappers is worth it in the short term. Now in the long term, obviously that's a much different test. In the long term, I was happy with my other set. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt here. As long as they make it right, let's see what happens. Obviously I didn't do that. I haven't even used a piece of anything that would cut that. They got delivered last night. They were sitting in my driveway when I got home, and all I did was take the tape off of them that had the shipping label and roll them over next to the truck to make this video. So let's see. Hopefully it's a smooth process. Woo, we can finally finish the video on the Retread tires, guys. So where we left off, I believe, set the camera down. I believe where we left off was I found a cut in the sidewall on one of the tires the day they were delivered, the day after they were delivered. And that was they were delivered on a Friday. I ordered them on Wednesday. They were delivered on Friday, which is really good. I mean, Georgia's pretty close to Tennessee, but that's pretty good. I found the cut on Saturday, and that's when I made the first half of this video. And so I mentioned, let's see how good their customer service is. So I did send an email with pictures that day and said, hey, you know, one of the tires arrived with a cut, and I sent pictures of the cut. The cut's not all the way through the sidewall, but it's enough to be concerned about. And I sent all that in the email, and I didn't hear back from them on Saturday during the day. So that kind of concerned me, but I realized that on their website it says their office hours are Monday through Friday. So I was going out of town on Sunday, so I went out of town, and on Monday, when I got up to go to work, I checked my email, and there was an email from them Monday around lunchtime. And it said, here's the tracking number for your new tire. Didn't ask questions. Didn't ask for the old tire back, didn't want to inspect anything, nothing. Just here's your tracking number for your new tire. Kept in touch with my wife throughout the week, obviously, and found out that the tire came in on Wednesday. So by Wednesday, I had a new tire. Being to cut on the sidewall, they didn't want the old tire back, so I still have the old tire too. I'll probably wind up vulcanizing the sidewall and putting it on my spare, to tell you the truth, because it's still a good tire. While I'm not claiming a 4-tire claim or anything big like that, just general customer service, gee, I mean, you can't get any better. As soon as they were back in the office, they literally didn't ask any questions, just sent me a new tire. So let's take a look at what they look like, and then we'll talk about the few miles I've driven on them. So as I talked about, I'm going to be debadging this truck, and I've already started. Of course, this truck's been repainted, and whoever repainted it did a horrible job. So some of the paint's coming up as I debadge it, but forget about that. Let's just concentrate on the tires. I'm also, as you can see, hopefully you can see, the tires make the truck look, in my opinion, night and day different. They actually fit the truck, make the truck look full size. I mean, even with no non-matching sidewalls, they still look great. With the black walls out, you'll never know they're not matching, except for one tire. The tire they sent me as a replacement has a Toyo sidewall on it, and so Toyo, the MTs had these side biter lugs. Doesn't really match with the all-terrains, but it's what they had, and it balanced out, so don't really care. The guy who at the tire shop to put them on matched them up with this Nitto on this side that has slight side biters. Realistically, again, if you're just glancing at the truck, you're not even going to notice. And the truck looks awesome, in my opinion, for what it is. So let's talk about expectations versus reality versus performance versus everything else. So it's the second set of recaps I bought from them. And those did fine. I put about 10,000 miles on them. They probably still have a good 15,000 miles left. They're in a warehouse right now, probably dry rotting. One tire out of the 4 back then had to have a lot of weight, and I just put it on the back and it ran fine. I never flung a weight, never had an issue with it. These, however, they're on a much larger truck. They're the all-terrain pattern, so they're a little different. It's the first time I've had experience with them, and I've only driven them about 25 miles now, and they've done fine. There's a whine, there's a road whine to them that I wasn't anticipating. They actually whine or have a little more road noise than the mud terrains I had. I'm not sure what the cause of that is, but just a little bit. When the radio's off and the windows are down, you can hear a whine. But they all bounced out fine. The rear one on the driver's side took a lot of weight, a whole lot of weight. Probably as much or more than the one that took a lot of weight. My wife's hair, that's not a spider web. Probably as much or more weight than the one that took a lot of weight on the mud terrains. Well, I'll just keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know if anything crazy happens with it. But so far, you know, just 25 miles, but no problem. They've balanced out. They gotten up to about 70. Let's talk about expectations for these tires. My expectation is I've put 8,000 or so miles on this truck in 5 years, 4.5, 5 years I've had it, something like that. My expectation is that these tires will probably start dry rotting before they get wore down. It's a heavier truck, a lot heavier than my Jeep, but still, in the next 4 or 5 years, if I keep this truck, I probably won't put more than 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it. So there's no way that these are going to wear down. Now, if I was going to have this as my daily driver and put 20,000 miles a year on this truck or more, 25,000 miles a year on a truck, you know, some people put 50 and 60 and 70,000 miles in a year on their work trucks. These tires are not for that. And if you think they are, then that's probably where the bad reviews have come from. Even on their website, they say that they will not last what a stock tire will. My anticipation is on this truck, if I were to really drive this truck, I would probably get about 18 to 20,000 miles on them. I think that's where people make mistakes when they're buying these type of recap tires and they have bad experiences with them. They expect them to perform like a regular tire, like a regular BFG all-terrain, but they're not. There's a reason they cost $100 a tire. These cost $100 a tire, free shipping, and a BFG costs $250 a tire for the same size with shipping. If these work like BFGs, then no one would ever buy BFGs. Or if these work like Michelin's or any other quality brand, people would never buy a quality brand. There's a reason. So you have to, when your expectations when you run a tire like this have to be for what the tire is. This is a low mileage tire a tire that will last for low mileage. They have defects and may take a lot of weight to balance, and that's why they cost $100. If I wanted a tire that would balance with the minimal weight, last 35,000 miles on a truck this size, I'm going to go buy some $300 tire Michelins, and I'm going to spend the money on them. But there's no sense doing that for a truck that I'm only going to drive maybe 5,000 miles, 8,000 miles for the rest of its life probably. Just keep that in mind before you buy these tires. These are not your normal tires, and they're not meant to be. So go into them with I won't say low expectations, because I have high expectations for them, but I have realistic expectations. So hopefully this gives you some confidence if you're thinking about buying some recap tires from tirerecappers.com. They are what they are. Don't make them into something they're not, and you won't be displeased with them. If you think you're going to put 4 of these on a 3/4 ton truck and get 30,000 miles out of them, even 20,000 miles out of them, you are sadly mistaken. You can feel how soft this compound is that they work with to retread these, and it's just not going to work. But if you want some cheap tires for a cheap truck that's not going to see a whole ton of miles, then go for it. Guys, I hope this has been educational. I hope that it has helped you make a decision. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if it did, and thanks for watching, and have a great day.